Hello everyone, I'm meteorologist Charlie Ironmonger. Thank you so much for joining me today for your 1 p.m. news and weather update from the First Alert Desk. Now we've got quite the story out of Elizabeth City where there has been a very large sewer spill. Officials in Elizabeth City have reported the sewer spill from the city's sewage collection system. Now, according to Elizabeth City Public Works, approximately 12,000 gallons of untreated sewage spilled from a break in a 12-inch main sewer line at Halsted Boulevard and Thunder Road and entered a nearby ditch on Forest Park Road. Now, the spill was found on Thursday, yesterday, at around 12:30 p.m. in the afternoon, and the sewer line has since been repaired. And now we also again want to highlight the Trump prescription effort that is being pushed out by the White House to help bring down drug costs for Americans. NBC's John Decker, or I believe, Emma Wolfhurst has more from Washington.
The Trump RX website is officially live.
This is a very big deal. People are going to save a lot of money and be healthy.
This new government portal is set up as a facilitator, pointing customers to drug makers' direct-to-consumer websites to make purchases or offering downloadable coupons to use at pharmacies. Upon initial launch, the website features 40 medicines, including weight loss drugs like Wegovy and IVF treatment Cetrotide. The first person to buy a fertility drug from Trump RX spoke at Thursday's announcement.
IVF demands extraordinary physical and emotional strength. But for so many families, the financial burden can be just as heavy and at times overwhelming.
The Trump administration says these discounted prescription prices are available through special agreements with 16 drug companies, including big names like Pfizer, AstraZeneca, and Eli Lilly. The president calls this most favored nation pricing.
You should not be buying drugs anymore without at least checking to see if those medications are available at these discounted prices on TrumpRx.gov.
The platform is designed for people to pay cash instead of using health insurance. The site does encourage users to check their copay first. The administration says additional drugs from other companies which have agreed to most favored nation deals will be made available through the Trump RX website in the coming months. In Washington, Emma Wolfhurst.
Well, thank you, Emma, for that report. We now turn to your weather forecast. Still seeing again a few little leftover pockets of some snow across eastern North Carolina. Not seeing much, obviously, but we are still again seeing a few. Right now, this is a view through our News River Cam in New Bern, and it's kind of the shady spots right now that are trying to hang on to the snow we got over the weekend. Air temperatures not helping. 44 degrees right now is encouraging some melt going on throughout eastern North Carolina for any of those leftover snowy pockets. Southwesterly winds helping encourage those air temperatures to rise a little bit higher this afternoon than what we saw yesterday afternoon. As yesterday we were faced with more of a northeasterly breeze. Now, Leandra Nicole says, is it going to snow again in North Carolina next week? Well, Leandra, great question. No, but it may snow in North Carolina. I shouldn't say. It's not going to snow in eastern North Carolina coming up next week. Now, I haven't paid too much attention to what they're going to be dealing with over there in the mountains of the western half of the state. We will have some rain showers and a cold front rolling through that could potentially around the mountains show up as some snowflakes. But here in eastern North Carolina, we are actually looking at a chance of maybe a few snowflakes coming up later on today. And then again tomorrow morning along the Outer Banks. We'll go over that in more detail. It's not going to be really impactful by any stretch of the imagination. Just a few flakes coming down, but again, appreciate the lead-in. Absolutely. Let's take a look at what else we're seeing across eastern North Carolina right now. This is a view through our Pirate Cam in Greenville, 43 degrees. Southwesterly wind at 6 miles an hour is trying to warm us up, but ironically, it's also producing a little bit of a wind chill. So 43 degrees helped boost that high by the southwesterly winds that are actually making it feel like 39. So you got to just love a contradictory breeze, no matter where you get it. Here's a look in Grifton right now, 45 degrees, lots of sunshine. We will see cloud cover build over the east as we head towards 2, 3, and 4 p.m. coming up this afternoon. So if you're a fan of the sunshine that we're seeing outside right now, soak it up. While it will be back again tomorrow, it's going to be far more pleasant today because wind speeds, obviously today, not nearly as high as what we're going to be dealing with tomorrow, but also we're about 10 degrees warmer right now than where we're going to be throughout the entire weekend. For this afternoon, again, mid-40s planned throughout most of eastern North Carolina. Winds out of the west-southwest will help bring those air temperatures up and keep them there overnight tonight, likely staying above freezing. Now, of course, we will have some rain showers we're going to be dealing with as we head through the evening hours, but those raindrops are going to be pulling away from the coast as we head towards 9 o'clock tonight. Certainly not looking at much out of those systems. Here's kind of a big picture look at what we've got. First cold front of the night rolls through this evening, and then we get a secondary front that'll be moving through early Saturday morning. So it's that double cold front passage that's really going to anchor that cold air over eastern North Carolina for both Saturday and Sunday. The position of that high pressure system down towards the Gulf also going to continue to keep that cold air intact across eastern North Carolina, as that will encourage that northwesterly wind to continue as we head from Saturday into Sunday. Now, as that high gets closer to us, winds will relax, but winds tomorrow will not be relaxed. It is going to be a very windy day for your Saturday, but let's talk about what we're looking at as far as rain showers and, like Leandra Nicole mentioned, maybe a little bit of some snow flurries coming up in eastern North Carolina later on today. Here's a picture by 5. Some raindrops, some really light stuff coming down back towards I-95, and then that whole kind of patch of moisture works its way through the east, moving off the coast by the time we get to around 9 p.m. tonight. Now, again, you do see a few little pockets of that light blue indicating that snowfall is a possibility. With that said, also look at your air temperatures, your projected model air temperatures in the mid to upper 30s. You're not going to get anything to stick if you've got air temperatures in the mid to upper 30s, especially considering that we're in the mid 40s right now. So ground temperatures are going to be well above freezing. Snowflakes coming down, yes, but nothing's actually going to be sticking. Now, coming up for tomorrow morning, air temperatures noticeably colder, a little bit closer to freezing. Right now we're anticipating overnight lows around 33 degrees around the Outer Banks. Could get down to around 32. But this is when we've got our last opportunity for snow for at least the next few days. I know we had a couple flakes come down yesterday. We've got an opportunity for a few flakes coming up later on this afternoon and evening. And then we've got a few flakes possible along the Outer Banks between around 6 to 8 a.m. tomorrow morning. After that, we see our pattern completely change. It's going to take some time. Saturday and Sunday going to both be cold. A lot of that has to do with the winds that are going to be blowing into the east. Let's talk about those winds as we head through today and into tomorrow. Nothing really to report there, but tomorrow morning is when we really see those winds accelerate after that secondary cold front, the one that's again going to give us the chance of a few light snowflakes along the Outer Banks. As that exits, it's going to really pull in a lot of air out of the northwest and do so at a very healthy clip. Inland areas anticipate sustained winds between around 15 to 25 miles an hour with gusts up to around 25 to 35 miles an hour. Along the coast, it's going to get breezy in the morning. It will get windier in the afternoon, anticipating around 25 to 35 mile an hour sustained winds along the Outer Banks and around the Sounds, with gusts upwards around 35 to 45 miles per hour. Could end up seeing potentially some high water levels along the Sound side of the Outer Banks over your Saturday, particularly Saturday afternoon to Saturday evening. The good news is these winds are not going to be strong all weekend long. Saturday is the windy day of the two. By Sunday morning, inland areas about a 6 to 12 mile per hour breeze. Stays a little bit breezy along the coast, but those winds will relax through the day, getting gradually weaker and weaker as we approach kickoff for the Super Bowl. Of course, you can catch the Super Bowl on WITN. Now, here's a look at your full 8-day forecast. Mid to upper 30s for this weekend. Mid to upper 40s for Monday, low 60s coming up for Tuesday and Wednesday. That will be the first time so far in February and the first time in about 3 weeks that we can say that we are looking at air temperatures above average. Now, we're not going to stay there long. We will be cooling back down as a cold front rolls through Wednesday night into Thursday, giving us an opportunity for another round of some rain showers, but does not look like we are going to be cold enough to support any sort of widespread snow event as we head through next week. Friday night into Saturday morning, certainly something to keep an eye on there with overnight lows at around 30 degrees, but that's not going to be cold enough to drop ground temperatures to a level where we could potentially see any sort of accumulation. So for now, snow does not look like much of an option in eastern North Carolina through next week. Now, obviously, with that Friday night, Saturday, that's a ways out. That's a ways out. That could change if we see those overnight lows really start to drop Friday night into Saturday. We may end up again seeing another opportunity for a few flakes to come down. But as far as the type of setup we had last weekend, I don't see that happening again, certainly not over the next 8 days. But that's all we have time for today's 1 p.m. news and weather update from the First Alert Desk. I want to thank you all so much for joining me. We'll be back with more news and weather coming up at the top of the hour. Until then, have a fantastic rest of your Friday.